will Jordan Travis take the next step? But I feel like it's kind of generic. We can go into it if you want, though. You look at his first year starting under Mike Norvell. He struggled as a passer and really relied on his athleticism to make plays. And whenever he hit downfield, it was a little bit surprising. Only threw 6 touchdowns to 6 interceptions in 2020. And you move into this year, he kind of struggles out of the gate in that Notre Dame game, throwing 3 interceptions. And you've got the in and out rotation with Mackenzie Milton before he really locks it down against Syracuse. And then after that, he takes a really big step. His final 7 starts of the season, throws 11 touchdowns to 2 picks, 15 touchdowns to 6 interceptions on the season. You really saw it in those wins over Miami and Boston College. Like, Florida State relied on him to make plays down the field with his arm, and he did so, and probably would have led FSU to a win in the finale against Florida if he doesn't get hurt on the 3rd offensive play and can't feel his shoulder for the rest of the game. So I think, Florida State, they've added to that wide receiver room. You've got Cameron McDonald back. You've got some running backs that have been in the system. You've got 4 offensive line starters back and some transfers that are probably going to come in and play immediately. This offense relies on Jordan Travis taking that next step and being the guy next year, making those plays downfield all the time, and just outside of a couple games. It's got to be all year.
Hey guys, it's Terrence Nan. You're listening to Hear the Spear, presented by Noel Game Day. Bowl Noles.
Hey, what's up? This is Peter Ward, a.k.a. E-Dub, in the house. So we're listening to Hear the Spear, presented by Noel Game Day. Go live, go Noles.
Hi, this is Charlie Ward, and you're listening to Hear the Spear, go Noles.
This is Terrell Buckley. You're listening to Hear the Spear, presented by Noel Game Day. No Bloody.
But perhaps better known as the greatest corner to ever step on a football field, Deion Primetime Sanders.
Great Deion Sanders, my brother. What's going on, man? I could wake up to that greeting every day, man. That was awesome.
Hello, Noles fans. This is former Seminole Derek Brooks, and you're listening to Hear the Spear, presented to you by Noel Game Day.
James Wilder Jr. What's going on, James?
Thanks for having me on. SSOD, Florida State or Die, and go Noles.
William Bar None Floyd.
Gentlemen, what's up?
What is happening, guys? This is Logan Robinson from Hear the Spear, presented to you by NoelGameDay.com. Hope everybody's having a wonderful week. We've had some gorgeous weather in Tallahassee, so the good vibes are here. Dustin is fighting through a stomach ache, and VZ got a win this week in Florida State basketball, so his name has now been changed to Feeling Better Austin VZ on the stream here. He's feeling a little bit better. Yeah, we don't have Nate yet. Nate is still at work, although I thought he told us last week he didn't have work at all Thursday, so now he had work.
He did say that.
Yeah, and he was supposed to be at an IMG event, but it happens to just be us this evening. Nate will probably show up soon and yell an F word and tell Dustin to screw off, and probably so. About 5 minutes from now. But yeah,
Can't
gentlemen, we've got some spring stuff. We're not going to dive deep fully into it yet. We have 2 podcasts planned for the next 2 weeks, covering and previewing the offensive side and the defensive side. And we're going to take a lot more questions when it gets closer to that first practice on March 5th. So we'll have a little bit of sprinkled in spring stuff in here. But other than that, we have quick hitters from the Super Bowl. We've got Jaden Daniels from Arizona State entering the transfer portal that we'll touch on. Tour of Duty is definitely in full swing. We'll be able to go watch that on March 1st. We'll discuss. And then we've got biggest question marks heading into the spring. And if we have enough time, we'll get some Q&A from the Discord. If not, we'll bring those over to next week. And then VZ's going to finish us off with some basketball.
Exciting.
Gentlemen, how we doing? D-Lou in the middle there, lead writer and editor. Then we got Austin VZ.
Can you take me to the side? I don't like being in the middle.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep you there just to
makes me uncomfortable.
I don't like that one either. It's way too close up.
It is really close.
You can't see my jacket. Like I wore it for a reason.
Oh,
can't see my background. Like look at
good.
it.
Well, I mean that's a good.
Well, yeah, we were discussing this in the production.
There's not much there anyways.
Yeah, that I'm still getting irritated by how close Bobby Bowden's picture is, and that one
that's Paul Pierce
frame.
I swear he moved it closer. Like
that's Paul Pierce back there.
I don't think it was that close last week.
There was another picture there that fit well in that space. That was a lot smaller than Bobby Bowden, and that's just where the nail is in the wall, and I'm not going to move it.
God help us, please, man. Someone help him.
We're set to move from this house in about a month, so I'm not touching this room. I'm done with it.
You're done with it?
It's over.
All right. Well, you got 4 more pods, so in that room, and then I guess God knows where you'll be.
I can just keep the camera off, or
just spice it up for the next house. Just spice.
You guys
it up.
Want me to take Paul Pierce down?
No, you don't have to do that.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Well, I don't know. I don't give a
I feel
damn.
like the Bobby Bowden picture isn't even straight on the wall.
Yeah, no, a lot of things are just off in that. I'm just hoping the new household, even I'll come over there and help you. How about that? I'll come over there and help you, prep it up, put some cool LEDs back here. Sorry, I forgot that you've just been by yourself on the screen the whole time.
I've got some other memorabilia
LEDs.
that I want to get up there, and it's just not the time. We're getting out of here, and I don't want to put that kind of effort in, and then bang, let's take it all down.
You don't ever want to put in the effort, so I don't know what.
Not unless I have to, and I do not have to at this moment in time.
Yeah. Well, that's all right. We've got a few things to talk about this evening. As always, you can listen to podcasts on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share it with your friends. We are in smack dab off season right now until the spring practice begins. So
it's rough.
We're holding on by a thread. But yeah, I think that's going to start us off here. Let's talk Super Bowl, gentlemen. How do we feel about that? Dustin, you had picked the Bengals because you went off of a cartoon show, and that didn't seem to really work for you too well.
But one time the Simpsons didn't call it, to be fair.
Dude, I know, man.
Yep.
I went with what's been proven in the past, and you can't be right 100% of the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Rams, Jalen Ramsey and Cam Akers get their first Super Bowl ring. Jalen Ramsey, we kind of felt like this was going to happen eventually. Definitely once we got to see him play and how well he was here in Tallahassee with Florida State, being a starter as a freshman. But I did not know that he's a 5-year. He has a 5-year streak of being selected in the Pro Bowl. 5-year streak. Ever since after his rookie year, he's been in the Pro Bowl. Isn't that pretty damn impressive?
It's impressive, but it's not really surprising because he's been one of the best DBs in football for a while now.
Yeah.
So at this point, it's kind of expected.
Yeah. No, that's definitely an interesting game for him. Had some times where you got to see Jamar Chase, that deep ball off to the right side of the field. Jamar beat him on the route. Jalen held himself accountable and said that was on him, but made up for it. I think people are going to jump to the times that Jamar Chase and any kind of wide receiver against a DB. If a wide receiver wins, it's going to be talked about the most. It will never be talked about on the other side of the ball. But Jalen Ramsey saved a touchdown there on a fantastic play. I was watching that play. I was watching him closely because I felt like Joe Burrow was going to try to target Jalen again, just because I feel like the young quarterback definitely has some courage in him. But Jalen Ramsey was able to rip that ball out of the wide receiver's hand and only cause let a field goal for the Bengals. And then Cam Akers did his thing here and there. They just couldn't find a lot of running during the Super Bowl. They definitely got to work on the offensive line there. But you wrote a piece on it, Dustin. Extremely impressive on how Akers went from an Achilles injury, partial tear, full tear, whatever. I mean, an Achilles injury in training camp, before training camp, and then able to come in and play in a Super Bowl and play in, 2 playoff games. Extremely impressive.
Yeah, he played in the last regular season game and then started all 4 playoff games. And it's been about 6.5 months since that injury. And, we followed his comeback all the way to him getting back on the field finally and starting to make cuts and starting to run again. And it's just crazy to see how quickly he's ramped up and been able to get back to this and playing high-level football. I'm sure he would say that the 2022 playoffs wasn't his best performance on the field. Like, he made some great plays, but it wasn't consistently done. But at the same time, he's not fully healthy right now after that injury. There's no way with the amount of time it's been. So I can't wait to see him come back next year and have a really good third year in the NFL.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Bengals defense played really well, really all
Mhm.
postseason. So it wasn't a surprise that they were able to limit the running game.
They keyed in on it.
They really did. I think he only had like one run of more than 4 yards. At least that's what it felt like.
He took
I wish
some
he would have.
hits.
Yeah, I wish he would have gotten a touchdown at the end just to make up for it a little bit. But it's still impressive he was able to come back from it and play at all, much less play in a Super Bowl, start in a Super Bowl.
Yep, that was extremely cool to see, and I think
someone recognized the jacket.
Yeah, someone says in the Mike here. Mike was in here before everybody saying. Everybody was. What was he looking? Oh yeah, he's looking forward to some baseball too because that is opening weekend this upcoming weekend. So best of luck to Florida State baseball. But showing off Austin's jacket here, a little old school. Can we get the full screen look? Let's see what we got here.
Should I stand up?
Yeah. Let's see.
Stand up.
I mean, we have nothing else to do really.
I mean,
look at that. Nice.
Jacket. If you follow me on Twitter, it's the one with the big Seminole print on the back with with the chief holding the knife in his mouth.
Get us going with that baseball preview, Austin.
I don't. No.
Yeah, get us going. While you're on the screen, can you go and give us about 15 minutes of what to expect?
I'll give you 5 seconds. I do not care. I don't care about baseball. I'm sorry. I really don't.
Yeah, go tweet that guy. There's his ad right there. Noles Vikes V is going to give him some trouble there. Nate, we didn't know you were even working. I thought you told us last week you weren't working on Thursday and you're going to the IMG thing, and now you're working.
Well, I forgot.
Oh, damn it. Well, you didn't really miss out on anything. We're talking about the Super Bowl, though, and I know you're big on Jalen and everything.
Yeah, man.
Like all that hate he's getting on the internet, he doesn't deserve the ring and all that bullshit.
I don't understand I haven't understood the debate of Xavier and Howard being the better cornerback than Jalen Ramsey. I just don't get it. He's a good cornerback, but Jalen's just better football player, better at everything.
Mm-hmm.
He gave it that touchdown to Higgins, but anyone that understands the game of football knows that was offensive pass interference.
Yep.
Otherwise, he played a pretty dang good game against one of the top passing offenses in the NFL.
Yeah, and I was going to say too. I mean, Jamar just had that one deep route on him. He just won that rep. Took accountability, but then bounced back 2 plays later and had an interruption on. I mean, practically ripped out the ball from the wide receiver, which would have gone for 6 for the Bengals there, but held him down to a field goal. But everybody's kind of going to forget about that. So really, statistically, really about 3 catches, 60-something yards.
Well, since
covering 2 wide receivers, T. Higgins and Jamar Chase.
Since when does being a top NFL cornerback mean that you can't or can never get beat?
Yeah, never. He can never ever.
This world. These guys on offense are just as talented, as any. But I don't understand how, in order for a cornerback to could be set a lead or shut down, he can't ever give up anything.
Mm-hmm.
Do people not watch Deion Sanders? He got beat. Michael Irvin beat him on the regular. Jerry Rice. I mean, everyone gets beat. It's part of the game.
Yeah. What do you think about
the simple fact is he's got a Super Bowl, and I love it.
Yeah, exactly. It's good for the brand overall. Florida State can take advantage of a lot of this. We got a starting running back, and starting defensive back, starting corner with a Super Bowl ring. So got to help a little bit of recruiting there on that side. What about the Super Bowl halftime? How y'all like it? I thought it was great. I thought it was awesome.
I thought it was good, but I was disappointed that there was no gin and juice and nothing but a G thing. I wanted those on there. I'm really surprised they didn't do a Tupac, hologram.
No, yeah, I'm surprised. I did think that the songs were played a lot longer than usual halftime shows. Like they were a little bit long. I felt like they could have sprinkled in about two or three more songs in there, but they did have a lot of performers though and artists.
I can think of a better Kendrick Lamar song.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
50 Cent. You know,
That was good. That worked out well. Cool. At least definitely the performance too. I'm trying to fit the music video.
Yeah. I mean, Eminem doing that was just about as basic as possible to do that song.
I love some Eminem though. I do love some Eminem.
He did good. You would.
What does that mean? I was young. I used to listen to it with my dad in the car, and I listened to a lot of Eminem. That's where I got it from. But I'm just really wondering, and Nate, you could probably help me with this. Do you think that Dustin could pull off what 50 Cent did with doing the whole put his legs up there on the bar and do the pull up and pull off that performance there?
Maybe in my prime when I was like 9 years old.
I'm not saying anything after my experience at the gym this week, dude.
Yeah, so this is the first time back in how long?
2 years. So it's pre-COVID.
Yeah. Oh, and you didn't feel too well?
No, I got my ass beat.
Yeah, that's always a wake up.
I worked with the trainer, dude, and he whipped my ass.
Oh no, you went with the trainer the first day?
28 minutes. That was it. 28 minutes.
Wow, damn. Well, good thing you got a long ways to catch up to me. That's for sure. I would love to see how you do for a good hour and a half, you know.
Oh man.
You don't work with a trainer though, Logan. It's different.
Yeah, it does hit different. 28 minutes with the trainer. I am the trainer. I am the trainer.
High intensity, nonstop.
You should let me come down there and train you a little bit.
No, I don't need you to train me. You should let me train you. We'll get those legs looking like man legs.
Yeah.
You know, get rid of the saggy boobie, you know.
Saggy boobies.
The little hole in the chest you got, you know, whatever you want to call that.
The hole in my chest.
Yeah. You have no shoulders. So
what? You just want me to eat boneless and just devour myself.
No. I mean, boneless is the secret to you know, Warren Buffett, boneless fan. Bill Gates, boneless fan.
Yeah.
Jeff Bezos, boneless fan.
Yeah.
It's a fact.
Dustin and I are doing our own research. You know, it's going to be one of our shirts is going to make a playlist of America of all the great George Washington, boneless.
We've got a whole historical facts on the website.
Yeah.
We've got to stop.
Abe Lincoln, boneless fan.
Oh God!
So when Christopher Columbus came over from the Asiatic area, one of the first things that he put out there to the Native Americans was boneless wings, and that kind of leads us to today. It was the original Thanksgiving feast.
I think so. I don't believe it. Arizona State quarterback. I think everybody knows this name. Jaden Daniels has entered the transfer portal. Over there, media discussion happened on Twitter today because that's a dual threat quarterback, was one of the top in his class. And
it's kind of surprising. Makes me wonder if the hammer is about to drop at Arizona State. You know, they're getting investigated and they're in trouble.
Yeah, you know? They've got a lot of things going on in Herm
It was kind of a surprise to see the backlash from the teammates after he entered the transfer portal. There was one guy that said he's trash anyways.
There was teammates that are like at his locker. Teammate? I don't know if they were taking stuff or what.
Taking stuff from his locker room.
Yeah.
Which is total just garbage kind of locker room environment that you have there at a roster, I should say.
I don't know if I call Jaden Daniels trash, dude.
I was like 6 or 7 guys too. It wasn't just a singular guy.
I didn't call him trash. You talking about the player, his teammates?
It's just of course the conversation is going to be is he going to want to be Travis's backup? A guy doesn't leave as a 3-year starter to come back with Jordan Travis.
And just to hear the backstory of why, you know, his teammates are that fired up about it, would be interesting to hear.
Yeah, probably.
I'd take him to FSU, but you know, I think him and Jimbo's offense would be pretty interesting.
Yeah, I saw a little talk here and there on that. That'd be a fit at least for the offense. I don't know if we'd land there just because of who they've got over there, but I don't see where you'd come in he doesn't want to be a depth piece. He doesn't want to be a second string. He doesn't want to sit behind Jordan Travis. If you're gonna bring him in, you do it. It's got to be full on competition mode. But I still don't see Florida State doing that.
He came back to college, turned down the NFL. He's not going to go somewhere and sit.
Mm-mm.
So really, realistically, look at who needs a quarterback.
Yeah, now he's the top quarterback option right now. If I'm missing JT Daniels, maybe. I mean, those two are probably top.
We really count Daniels as a top option?
Put him at 2 or 3. I mean, someone. Well, I mean, depends on really what you're working with, though. In the transfer portal, 2,000?
He's on his third stop. I think that.
I think it's done.
I think that's done. I think the injuries.
I think the injuries. Have you seen our Discord, Austin? I've seen.
Well, Florida State
I do not
let them know.
No.
FSU fans in general are going to be mad that if Norvell doesn't take him.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
What else is new?
Tour of Duty is going on. It's kind of been more sealed and zipped than usual, I think, than last year for sure, but a little bit more quiet on things. Guys getting up at 5 a.m., getting workouts started at like 5:36. But supposedly we saw it in a video too, but Keyshawn Helton has been wearing the black jersey, which, if you guys don't know, means being the best player, leader on the team, along with on the field, just kind of showing out, being the big show out on the team. Nate's saying, let's wrap this up. I was wondering what everybody was laughing about. I didn't understand it. But yeah, it seems like Keyshawn Helton, but nothing really Tour of Duty wise. I mean, I know everybody wants to know the freshmen that are coming in and showing out. Has anybody heard anything on their end? Perchance? I mean, we're going to be there on March 1st. We'll be there March 1st, so we'll be able to give you guys some scoop on that. But
I mean,
I'm not really hearing too much.
I think it's been the transfers more than the freshmen that have really stood out.
Yeah.
And we talked about that last week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think
dead horse.
The biggest thing too, transfers coming in and seems like fitting well. I watched Micah Pittman's vlog today, and I watched the one before that, but it seemed like the transfers are really mixing. I saw Micah and Jared Verse talking and chatting it up, and the locker room, they're over there in the guest locker rooms this month or the last couple of months because of the construction going on for the new locker room. But it seems like the new transfers really clicking, fit really well. And even Micah talked about it too in the vlog. He said, Florida State staff has done a really good job of bringing in guys that are getting along with one another and, creating friendships, and everybody has their own kind of personality, which is gelling really well. So just another thing that Norvell does nicely at doing.
I'd be interested to hear from Johnny Wilson, his thoughts on Jaden Daniels there.
Yeah, he can probably give you good insight.
Yeah, I mean, something got to be going on there. I'm just still thinking about that. It's
3-year starter up and leaves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, interesting stuff.
But a guy that I've heard some good things about is true freshman, early enrollee, tight end Brian Courtney. And he's a pretty interesting guy. Simon Florida State, pretty underrated. I remember some people really didn't like the take whenever he did commit. But, when you look at him, he's got all the physical attributes that you want at a tight end at about 6'4", 220, 230 or so. And during his high school career, he played quarterback, tight end, defensive end, outside linebacker. So he's played all over the field. He's very athletic. He's made plays on both sides of the ball. And, you look at some of the guys that Norvell brings in, former quarterbacks that get converted to skill players. Those guys just naturally have a higher football IQ than some players. And I think Courtney is going to be really impressive for Florida State. I don't know if he breaks the rotation this year, but down the line, I think there's something for Florida State to develop in him.
Mm-hmm.
I like him at linebacker.
Yeah, I could see that being a future position switch possibly.
Yeah, he talked about it. He said he's going to start off at tight end, but he's been moved around a lot, he mentioned. So we'll see. I put in here, before we move on, biggest question marks heading into the spring. We're about 3 weeks away from that kicking off on March 5th when practice begins. But that's just a general thing here before we jump into offensive, defensive previews the next couple of weeks. Biggest question marks overall going into the spring. Do what?
Who's the backup?
Yeah, I think Dustin had a kind of quarterback-related question mark. I don't know if it has to do with backup, but it has to.
It was about Geno English.
You did?
Is this his time to step up and be the starter?
Everybody give him a laugh. But really, what was it? What was your biggest question mark? Is this really your biggest question mark? Not the Geno English one, but the one that you were talking about in the production meeting.
I was going to bring up, will Jordan Travis take the next step, but I feel like it's kind of generic. We can go into it if you want, though. You look at his first year starting under Mike Norvell. He struggled as a passer and really relied on his athleticism to make plays. And whenever he hit downfield, it was a little bit surprising. Only threw 6 touchdowns to 6 interceptions in 2020. And you move into this year, he kind of struggles out of the gate in that Notre Dame game, throwing 3 interceptions. And you've got the in and out rotation with Mackenzie Milton before he really locks it down against Syracuse. And then after that, he takes a really big step. His final 7 starts of the season, throws 11 touchdowns to 2 picks, 15 touchdowns to 6 interceptions on the season. You really saw it in those wins over Miami and Boston College. Like, Florida State relied on him to make plays down the field with his arm, and he did so, and probably would have led FSU to a win in the finale against Florida if he doesn't get hurt on the 3rd offensive play and can't feel his shoulder for the rest of the game. So I think, Florida State, they've added to that wide receiver room. You've got Cameron McDonald back. You've got some running backs that have been in the system. You've got 4 offensive line starters back and some transfers that are probably going to come in and play immediately. This offense relies on Jordan Travis taking that next step and being the guy next year, making those plays downfield all the time, and just outside of a couple games. It's got to be all year.
Yeah, it's a big offseason for him too, and developing and just working on strength and conditioning for him, and whatever it is to keep him on the field and healthy is a big thing for him. I mean, we saw the progression too of him, his pocket awareness a lot better, staying in the pocket, pulling up. He changed a lot, and there was a big improvement from last season.
It's no secret. Last year I wasn't the biggest supporter of Travis, as quarterback at Florida State. I do think, like Dustin said, that he improved tremendously as the season went on. And you have to take in the fact that I think Logan, you talked about before too, is just number of games he started is still about a season's worth. So, the reason why I mentioned backup is because, one, FSU has to solidify that spot because, as we saw in the Florida game, that was the main difference in that game. And 2, we haven't seen Travis stay healthy yet. So, Florida State's got to figure out what they're going to do in that backup role. I agree with Dustin. I think they have some pieces now with the wide receiver room. They have some pieces at tight end. I think the running game is going to be solid again. I think the offense is going to be better. I do expect the offensive line to continue to get better year 3 under Atkins. So, can they solidify that backup quarterback spot? And the thing that's going to push it over the edge is, can Jordan Travis be? I know there was a lot of talk 2-3 weeks ago about Dillingham saying he's a top 25 quarterback in college football. If he gets there, the offense is going to put up points.
Mm-hmm.
I think it segues well into my biggest question mark, which is how the receiver rotation plays out. I mean, obviously you still have Keyshawn Helton, Ontario Wilson, and McLean coming back from last season. We also had 4 transfers: Deuce Spain, Micah Pittman, Johnny Wilson, and Winston Wright. You finally have some production coming in, and you still have some guys coming back. How that all plays out, we'll see how that can help Jordan Travis's improvements, because the wide receiver in the last few years has been really bad. And to finally have some production with Winston Wright, some playmaking ability with Deuce, and Pittman, and just the big body target of Wilson, find a way to get all these guys on the field. Something they're going to get figured out, and I'm excited to see how it works out, honestly. But it's still a question mark because there's a lot of potential, but still not a ton of production.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to watch those transfer wide receivers coming in. And
I mean, for me, the guy I'm really watching is Deuce Spot. If it comes together for him, Florida State's got themselves one because athletically he's
gifted. He's ahead.
I mean, if it comes together for him this year, Florida State is going to be dangerous on the outside.
Mm-hmm. I'm hoping they have some packages for him, because obviously he was recruited as a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Is there some packages for him where he can get on end around, have the option to throw it?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's something we have to consider.
Yeah, put him in that Wildcat type offense instead of a running back, we did with Corbin.
Yeah.
And Cam.
You want to transition?
Cam was a high school quarterback too, but
and transition that into kind of your biggest question mark, VZ, with the wide receiver room. Wasn't that your biggest one? The production.
I literally just said it.
What are you talking about, dude?
You said Deuce Span, and that was it.
I said all four of them.
He just talked about
just the transfers.
What are you doing?
I said the whole receiver room.
Were you blank for a minute and a half?
I was thinking. I thought, there is basketball. Well, there is other wide receivers other than transfers.
And I said McLean.
Is Jordan Young? Is this the last spring with Jordan Young? Is this the last one with Portier?
I want to say something about Jordan Young. So
there's more than
Jordan Young. Jordan Young played a lot of meaningful minutes at the back end of the season. That only helps FSU if he can put it together. But at the same time, this is a make or break spring. If he's better than that rotation, I would not be surprised to see him hit the portal.
Man, at practice,
but he played well at the back end of the season, especially as a blocker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and whenever he got his chances, he took advantage of it too. But man, watching him at practice, he's a top. Practice is practice, but he's a top. Him and McLean are the two top wide receivers at practice. Ontario also has great ones, but I mean, it's just consistent with Jordan Young and McLean.
But it hasn't been consistent. In terms of getting on the field. So I hate the word flash. We all know why, but in practice he shows what he can do. It just hasn't carried over all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and personally, I think every one of those wide receivers that was on the team last year, they need to be looking over their shoulder a little bit because the coaching staff just brought in 4 transfers. They didn't bring in high school guys that might need to wait and play later. They brought in guys that have already been at college programs, some that have been productive, some that have potential to be productive. And they're coming in here to take someone's job and play. So Florida State hasn't had a receiver record more than 400 yards in the last 2 seasons. And we all saw the issues last year, whether it was miscommunications on routes, drops, all kinds of different illegal formations. It just gets kind of ridiculous at a certain point. So there's going to be need to be a lot of changes there because it's pivotal. It's pivotal for that unit to step up in 2022. And I can't speak.
I do
just
agree
clicking
that,
in the background. I'm close to snapping my ears off. I don't know
that's my
clicking.
dog, man. It's a puppy. Okay.
Chill out.
It's going to choke on whatever that is.
Got your
what is
stupid ass cat walking across your keyboard all the time.
It ain't making noises. That's why cats rule. Cats rule always. By the way, cats do rule. Me and VZ agree.
I do agree with.
I'm sitting in my lap right now.
See, nice.
Ja'Kai Douglas.
Yeah, Ja'Kai Douglas. Keep forgetting about him, but was one of the most explosive players for Florida State last season. If not the most explosive player for Florida State's offense.
I hope your cat pukes in your shoes. That's what I hope.
It never has.
What's the reason? Why?
Because I'm in that mood today.
He doesn't have his shoes too from BC.
That's his fault.
Never gets sent.
No, it's
never
not my fault.
It's your fault.
How's it my fault?
It just is.
It's just always.
It's not. It's your fault.
Wait for you to tell me what you want. Never mind.
You're supposed to host him
I
at his.
sent-
You're supposed to host him this weekend too.
I sent you. Are you coming down still?
Yeah, I'll be there on March 5th, 6th. I'll be there 6th.
Okay.
Yeah, Nate won't be there.
I won't be at
Sorry.
Eric Church concert. Fuck no.
Yeah, I know that.
Dude, March 5th, Junior Day. Thought you were coming up.
Yeah. No, I'm coming to that. It's already on the schedule.
Staying in
Are you going
Dustin's new
back
house.
the next day to serve Austin?
Nah.
At least tell me
Yeah,
which restaurant
that
is so I can
was my
go.
point.
Nah. Hell no. So,
Oh,
if I got my shoes, then yeah, I might have figured something out, but we know what's important.
Oyster Man's bringing up a point here. So the lack of receiving yards can also be the quarterback production from last
For
season.
sure.
It can be both.
Yeah.
They rely on each other. But I was just
I-
pointing out
I
some
think
of
there
the
was
issues that the receivers did have.
80% talent in that room, though. You know,
Mhm.
there's a reason why teams were able to key in on shutting down Travis and shut down the offense. They didn't have the guys that were capable of stretching the field on a consistent basis, and then, you know, either they would
Switching
drop
up
the
quarterback,
pass
you
or
had Milton in there.
you
You
know.
had Jordan.
Well, there's a reason a true freshman, instantly passed up almost everyone in that room and played big minutes for Florida State all season. Despite when Malik McLean came in, we heard that he struggled in tour of duty, and we were kind of worried about his acclimation. And then, he came on, dominated in the spring, carried into the fall, had a solid true freshman season. And, he's one of the guys that will still be contributing to Florida State regardless of these guys coming in.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. My biggest question mark is going to be edge rusher opposite of Jared Verse, because you lose Keir
So you're
Thomas, you
penciling
lose.
Verse in as a starter already?
I don't think Verse is going to be a starter on game one.
I think
Your
game one
starter's
he will
going
be.
to be McClendon and what's his face? And why am I drawing a blank right now?
Oh, that's going to be Briggs. You're going to say Briggs.
Dennis Briggs. Yep, that's going
I
to
think
be your
it's-
two starters.
I think it's going to be Verse and Briggs. Verse. It's going to be either Verse or a Briggs / McClendon. I don't think.
It's going to be McClendon.
I mean,
Cooper,
he was the.
Lovett and Briggs.
Put in the comments. I'd like to hear everybody else's.
I don't hate
opinions on it.
Nate's rotation.
I don't think it's terrible, but I do think Jared Verse coming in, top transfer guy coming out. I don't see where
But
Florida State competed
I
very
do think
hard.
that once he gets acclimated,
every school wanted him. Every school.
once he gets acclimated, I think he'll take a starting position. But I think by game 4, game 5, I think that he'll lock in his role. But we'll see. I've been a big fan of McClendon, though. You all know that. I think he's gonna.
I have been too. 2 years ago.
I think he's going to be a solid player for FSU this coming season.
I also think people are expecting him to have a Jermaine Johnson type of impact. I don't think that's fair to expect a player to do that, especially one coming from Albany. As great as we all think Verse is, you can't expect him to be ACC Defensive Player of the Year, potential first-round draft pick. Like, it's going to take a little bit of time to get acclimated to ACC play and playing LSU and playing those kinds of games. It's going to take a little bit of time.
Johnson's a grown-ass man, 22 years old, versus still young,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, when you look at Verse, he's really only played one full college season at this point. He redshirted in 2019. They didn't have a season in 2020 because of COVID. They got to play, I think, a 4 or 6 game schedule in the spring last year, and then they played a full schedule this fall. So really, and then plus he's making that move from the FCS to the FBS. Like, he's been productive at Albany. I think at 11.5 sacks and 12 tackles for loss during the fall. But like you said, Austin, still he was a redshirt freshman this year, only going to be a redshirt sophomore at Florida State, whereas Jermaine Johnson, he had played at JUCO, he played at Georgia, he's a grad transfer. He'd already produced a little bit at Georgia. So it's not as a given out of the gate as it was with Johnson per se.
Yeah.
I'm going to hold off on the better than Johnson right now.
Yeah.
I think we all are in agreement there.
Jermaine was a top 30 most efficient when it came to efficiency as a pass rusher in his limited time at Georgia. So
he had 8 sacks as a backup.
The foundation was set there. You could see that what could possibly come of him. I think Verse will take a little bit of time to adjust, but I do think he will. He'll take his spot by midseason.
Yeah, no, and you used to have a pretty good stable there with Fuller too, who I thought made a big time improvement in his play last season whenever he was able to get in and took advantage of his playing time. He looked quicker, way faster off the ball. You've got a young with Patrick Payton, so you've got quite a bit to work with. But I thought Fuller looked good too. I think McLendon, I think, is a better player, but I don't think he's far and ahead of what we saw from Fuller last year. So that's at least a good sign. But there's just question marks on who those 2 starters. I still personally think Verse will be there. I'm just trying to figure out who's going to be on the other side. So we'll see. It's going to be a fun spring to cover. Any question marks from you, Nate?
He gave his backup quarterback.
I gave the backup quarterback.
You're like 0 for 2 on this now, Logan.
Dustin.
Yeah.
Pay attention, man.
What do you point at me for?
I do have a question mark on your ability to run this podcast right now. I do.
I'm not even listening. I'm not even listening to y'all. I'm not even listening. Second.
I'm interested to see what they do at DB also.
I'm surprised someone. Yeah, what happened? I thought I said. That's what I told you in the production meeting. I told you cornerback, Dustin.
Yeah, but then you brought up Jordan.
But now I'm giving it to Nate. So Nate looks like the smart one here. He has 2 things that he has.
There's a lot of debate on, taking a guy like Greedy Vance, who played well at Louisville. Florida State, I think, they have a guy in Cooper. I would pencil him as a starter. I'm not really sure on Brownlee as a starter.
Perfect timing.
I just think he had a up and down season. So we'll see what happens. But it's just they have a lot of parts.
Yeah, Kevin Knowles as well played a lot of time last year for Florida State. What's going to happen with Travis Jay and Jarian Jones? You've got the 2 new true freshmen coming in, Azera Thomas and Sam McCall. They're both going to start off at cornerback. So a lot of talent, some experience, and it's going to be interesting to see who rises to the top in that room. Also, Hunter Washington. I forgot about him.
Yep, Hunter. And another guy, too, I kind of pined for it last year during the season, was putting Renardo Green back at cornerback. I like him a ton. I think that he can make some noise at FSU. So
just got to stay healthy.
Got to stay healthy, and then I think safety. We kind of know what's going to happen there. What your top 3 or 4 is going to be at that spot. I think corner is way up for grabs.
It's a question here from Anthony asking tight end. Who is going to be the blocking tight end for Florida State?
Preston Daniel.
You got Cameron McDonald as being your catch-grabbing guy, but who's going to be the blocker? Probably Preston Daniel. And didn't see a lot of playing time because of Jordan Wilson last year.
And then Douglas, too.
Mm-hmm. Douglas is a big boy. Should be using blocking plays. There's a lot to debate. There's a lot to talk about, though. We don't want to dive deep into it because we've got all those discussions going on the next couple of weeks because we'll do offense next week and defense the week after. So we'll dive into all of these positions one by one. Basketball, VZ, Florida State got their win.
It's about damn time.
Finally. It took a little while. And you weren't at it. So your streak is still, 0-9?
I lost count.
0-8.
He's 0-8.
0-8.
Going to be 0-9 after Saturday around 8 o'clock.
Yeah, probably. We'll get to that in a minute. Get to that game in a minute. Somehow they beat Clemson. I don't know how. As banged up as this team is, they're missing 3 of their top 4 scorers. Missing their best true center in Naheem McLeod. John Butler and Cameron Fletcher are playing through ankle sprains. I don't know how they beat Clemson. I'm gonna be honest. Shout out Raekwon Evans and his career high 28 points. He's been arguably FSU's most consistent player all season. Just steady hand. If he's going to the free throw line, it's pretty much automatic. I hate the ACC for making me sit through 66 free throws. I think Clemson shot 36 and FSU shot 30. That's ridiculous. I never want to see that again in my life. Because both PJ Hall and Raekwon Evans were 12 of 13 from the free throw line. As great as both of their scoring performances were, both players had 28. 13 free throw attempts for one player on each side is insane. For once, the three ball was working for Florida State. I think they shot 42% from three, and Clemson only shot like 21%. And Clemson's a good 3-point shooting team. They couldn't make shots outside of Alamir Dawes. Alex Hemingway, who's usually really solid, I think was like 1 of 5 from three, maybe 2 of 5, including that miss at the end at the buzzer. Really, you couldn't have asked for a better look, but I think FSU was solid as long as it wasn't PJ Hall or Amir Dawes taking that shot. It was a really good basketball game, though. Like a really good basketball game from two really bad teams.
Yeah, thriller at the end.
Florida State roared out to an early lead. Clemson came back, kind of fought back and forth for the rest of the first half. Second half was kind of the same way. Florida State roared out to a 9-point lead. Clemson comes crawling back. They take a 4-point lead with a minute 19 left. And Raekwon Evans has a personal 7-2 scoring run to win the game for Florida State. He played so well. I can't talk enough about that guy and what he's meant to this team. I said on Twitter he had every reason to opt out after his brother died, and he comes back clearly still grieving every game, and he's finding a way to play and play well.
Incredible heart.
Incredible kid, man. Just an incredible guy. You can tell they're all playing for the grad assistant that's dealing with cancer right now, Jared Lynn. Shout out my guy. Hope you're all right. But you can tell they're playing for him, and that speaks to the family atmosphere that locker room has. Even after they've lost 6 straight, they're still going to go out and play their hearts out for a grad assistant. It's pretty telling. Pretty telling.
Goes to show what Leonard has always done in the locker room is building that family bond, and just one thing to kind of maybe get them back on track and trying to win some games. It's definitely a cool thing to see them pushing hard for that grad assistant.
Yeah, and now it gets as hard as it possibly can get, going to Cameron Indoor on Saturday night at 6:00.
And let's make sure everybody knows that VZ will be there. VZ will be there.
What do you mean? Oh, he got sick. I don't know. I haven't seen exactly what it was or if he'll be back for Saturday. I haven't really looked that much into it. I will tomorrow. Just haven't had time. But I don't know. It's interesting. I would expect him to be there because this is the second to last game that he will coach in Cameron Indoor. It's this, and then it's UNC at the end of the season. That's it.
Yeah.
So for any fans looking to go, good luck. The cheapest ticket when I looked was like $1,200 for this game. Wow. Not even for UNC, for Florida State, a bad Florida State.
Jeez.
That may have changed by now, but this was a couple days ago when I looked.
Yeah.
It's insane right now. I honestly didn't even think I was getting credentials.
Yeah.
I literally just texted someone saying if they had any extra tickets through the team, and then literally 10 minutes later I got the email saying I got approved. So it's going to be interesting. I'm sure that place is
$1,200 for a basketball game, college basketball game.
Yeah, for a 2-hour event between a bad team and a team that I think is a little overrated, but still the best in the conference. It's Duke's probably gonna be fired up, especially Virginia just beat them at home like 2 weeks ago. Maybe not even that long ago, maybe like a week and a half ago. And obviously having Florida State beat them in January, that's still gonna be fresh on their minds. They're gonna want to go out and put Florida State in their place. But Florida State always plays Duke tough. So I don't know. We'll see. This will be my 3rd time in Cameron Indoor. Hopefully I don't walk out 0-3.
Yeah. No.
You're not. You're going to walk out 0-9.
On a streak, on a bad.
At least I go.
That's right.
At least I go.
I ain't going to that.
Yeah. Beezy's on a bad streak right now, everybody.
But could you imagine if this is the one that breaks it? I would take 0-8 if the one that breaks is a win in Cameron. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. I mean, that means you're taking away the Florida State's win at Clemson, which kind of,
I would rather win at Duke than at Clemson. Are you like?
Football people, get on them. Get on the basketball nerd right here.
People still talk about that game where Michael Snare hit the buzzer beater.
Yeah,
years ago.
Oh yeah, that was like just an all-out great college basketball moment.
It was. It was 10 years ago.
Phenomenal.
People still talk about that.
Yeah, they do.
Could you imagine this FSU team sweeping Duke in a season? Oh, I would not stop talking. I don't care how bad we are. I know so many Duke fans
need like a 40-point triple dub to make that happen.
Wyatt Wilkes is going for 40. You know, he's gonna hit the game winner.
10 for 10 from 3.
The real question is there's a very small chance Anthony Plight plays in this game, just from what I've been hearing. I think a lot of people thought he was going to be out for the season after his wrist injury, but there's talk he may be back this week or this weekend. If not, he'll be back next week. But small chance. And there's something about FSU seniors playing at Cameron. I'm sure people remember that game in late 2017 when both Brian Engel and Phil Cover had like 27 points. Trent Forrest in 2020 had 8 steals. Like seniors come to play usually at Cameron.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see if he can make it back for this.
I forget the injury to Polite. Was that his shooting wrist?
No, it's his right wrist.
So that might help a little bit.
Yeah. Small chance. I'm not saying it's gonna happen. There's a small chance. Small chance.
Yep. We'll see. What time is that game?
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
Probably on ESPN if I had to guess, because ESPN loves Duke.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Gotta get their ratings up.
Hopefully my head's not in the rafters like it was for Clemson. That's my only hope.
Oof. Yeah, no, that would stink. Those were some pretty tough seats, by the way. That was rough.
Apparently Florida State's the only one that takes care of media people. Because like at Florida State you're next to the floor.
Yeah. Chuck does a good job there.
Does a great job. Shout out Chuck.
Yeah.
Take some pictures of Coach K for me.
So you can hang them up behind him and it just be completely
Do you want my signed photo of Coach K? That's hiding back there somewhere.
Can I have it for free?
No. What do you think this is?
I think I'll pass.
I can text you the picture.
Can you try and get him to sign something for me at the game on Saturday?
No.
Beezy, before you got on here, Dustin's, he has a terrible stomachache. It started since he woke up this morning, but he said it has nothing to do with the late night Whataburger he had last night. It had nothing to do with it.
What does that have to do with Coach K signing something?
Well, I'm just bringing it up because I thought we'd just go on a train of just roasting you for a second, but it was definitely from the Whataburger, Dustin.
It might have been,
but you'll go back tonight, won't you?
No.
Friday night, you will.
After I get off here, I'm probably gonna go throw up and go to bed.
God, Jesus. Jeez Louise. Well, this was definitely probably our shortest pod in 2 years, but there's not too crazy much to talk about because we're going to go all into spring stuff starting next week with the offense. We'll take questions. We're going to go through every position group, storylines, blah, 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 freshmen, transfers, everything. So that's offense and defense the week after. And then we'll begin spring, and we'll be there in attendance to start coverage over there in person on site stuff. So finally, some actual football going on. We also got a cool announcement going on March 1st for you guys to check out. We'll involve a few of us in here that I am extremely excited about announcing. I don't think anybody has a clue what it is because I wouldn't even have a clue, honestly, and I didn't ever plan for this to even happen. So it's going to be a different change of scenery, but looking forward to announcing that on March 1st for everyone on here. I think that's going to wrap it up. Anybody else got anything on here? Any shout outs to anyone?
Real quick update. I just checked Duke, Florida State tickets again. They've come down a little bit. Cheapest tickets, $780 each. Two tickets, like 10 rows up. They're not bad. It's not bad at all.
Nate, what are your thoughts on that? Overpriced just a tad?
That's asinine for college football or basketball.
Granted, that is upper level. The cheapest lower level. Never mind, there are no lower level tickets available. I rest my case. Sorry. There are a total. This is hilarious. There's a total of 30 tickets available.
Jesus. I can tell you, I'm not going to be one of those last 30 to grab one. I hate to tell everybody that.
Oh, no.
And best of luck to VZ, too. In the next couple of weeks, he's going to be going to like 3 Eric Church concerts in a row. I don't know if you know about that, Nate, but he's going to 3 Eric Church concerts back to back to back in a matter of 8 days, you said? 8 days. I don't understand it, Nate. Please talk to him for a second.
So why?
Because he's good. He's really good. Like
at what?
Performing. He's a great performer.
I can't name one Eric Church song.
That's fine. I can name one Wu-Tang song. So,
and that's what's wrong with you.
You want to know? You want to know what makes it even better, Nate? Austin, how many shows have you seen before this?
I've seen him 12 times.
But it's like people with Dave Matthews.
I mean, I know people that have seen so many different artists hundreds of times. Like, it's what I want to spend my money on.
But it's Eric Church.
He's good.
I understand if it was like
Conway Twitty. 3 times in 8 days in 3 different cities good.
Yeah.
It is 3 different cities, not in one place. He's going to be going. He's flying. So, driving.
I understand George Strait, but not Eric Church.
Strait is like I love his music, but he's not a great performer.
What about Garth Brooks?
Garth is a good performer. He's a good performer as well. The thing with Garth,
but it's very surprising to me though, Austin, that you're a country music fan.
Why? Why is it surprising?
It is a little off.
Because your style.
Shoes.
The shoes.
I grew up
on jackets.
I grew up on Kenny Chesney and Shania Twain. That's what I grew up on.
Can we get a cowboy hat on your head?
If I still had it, I'd wear it, but I threw mine away.
Yeah, since you're a shoe guy, there's no way you're wearing Nikes at the concert, right? You're wearing some cowboy boots, right?
Where's my concert shoe?
Oh, you have concert
Where's my Eric Church Nikes at?
These are my concert shoes because they're already beat up. Like, and they go great with black jeans because they got the black tone. That's my concert shoe.
These are my Eric Church 100s, man. I love them.
Yeah, all right,
you gotta remember he does sleep with Eric Church. I mean, not with.
Right.
He sleeps under Eric Church. He's practically
cut. I can't say anything about that. I used to have a 6-foot Wu-Tang poster over my bed. So.
Well, that's like a logo, and it's not a man's face above you.
It's the album cover.
It was the album cover of Wu-Tang.
It pictures the album cover.
So yeah, you have multiple men. You had multiple men above your bed, Nate.
Yeah, because they're the rap gods of
you had
of history.
Bush Light, whatever it was, on your wall. I don't want to hear
this
it.
This is Natty Ice and don't sleep in this
worse.
room.
You have pink track lighting in your room right now, so you should just be quiet.
It's Women's Sports Month. Women's Sports Month. Or women in sports right here. Women in Sports Month right here. We're supported. Something's going on. Something's going on in Nate's room.
It's just kids. Relax.
No, there's something happening.
Relax, man.
Heard someone screaming.
Someone's screaming.
And a child.
This is what's going to happen, Dustin. You're getting close. When you have kids, it's going to be like this. I'm going to have to tell you to turn your mic volume down. Oh, this is tough. We got to get to spring football soon. Really, really soon.
But anyway, later this month, I'll be in attendance to Under Armour Atlanta to go cover some recruiting stuff going on up there. There's going to be a lot of guys in attendance. Should have a list.
I'm going to Orlando.
Week. And like Logan said, we'll be attending an open tour of duty.
On the 13th.
You're going to have to kill him, Dustin.
On the 13th of what?
Don't let him just interrupt you. You got to say, shut the F
up. What are you going to Orlando for?
An Elite 11 thing.
An Eric Church concert.
Oh, they're having an Elite 11 regional?
Yeah.
On the 13th?
Yeah, Eric Church is playing at the Elite 11. So
I would go.
Nate is not going. Nate has told us he's going to 3 recruiting events. He's 0-3 on that. Him and VZ are like the same streak. He is not going to be there. Nate is not going to be there.
How much you bet me?
Why do I have to now lose my money for you to go? I thought you were supposed to be somewhere tonight, and then you were supposed to be somewhere.
Well, I forgot how to work.
How much you would have bet?
Hell no, I'm not betting my money because then he'll go. If it were to even just be $1, he'd go.
We've already talked about this, okay? When you can pay my salary that I make now,
we can. If I could, I'd love. I'd love it.
So-
I'd love it.
Nate, to be fair, I'm waiting on it too.
Yeah.
You know?
You supposedly he's the
I'm still
shoe
waiting on my
plug of
damn
like
shirt.
Charlotte.
Hey, are we gonna have the shirts for the 5th at least?
Which shirts?
Like polos or
Yeah, I'll just hand it to you. If you're gonna be
He's
here.
gonna, he's gonna show up in a wife beater and throw on a polo over top. That's what's gonna happen.
I should
In
totally
the
do
parking
that.
lot.
Yeah. Oh man.
On the bench in my polo.
Johnny, we're hoping so. Well, March 1st is when we get to go. We'll see if the SIDs and Florida State Media Relations will let us take some video and pictures. We'll see. It all depends. We'll learn more on that, but we'll have some good coverage for you guys. And I highly suggest getting in the Discord because that's where we're going to be throwing a lot of the content if we're allowed to into there. So it's
March
open now.
1st,
Free to
March
everyone.
1st, 6 a.m. Me and Logan, we will try to wake up and actually go.
I definitely I like waking up early, but you get up at like 4 a.m. for a 6 a.m. thing. I'm like, nah, I'm getting up like 5, maybe even 5:15.
No, I'm
like,
getting up at 5:45.
No, because
for a 6 a.m. event.
Dustin has respect. You get up on time, you get ready, and just in
he's
case
got
something
extra-
happens.
He's got things he needs
So
to do.
I can eat in the car.
Yeah,
You're only on time if
if I
you're
need
early,
to.
bro. I'm gonna get there about 5:15 and be waiting outside the building for everybody.
No,
He's gonna be out there running the cone drills.
I'm gonna open the door for Mike when he arrives that morning.
yeah.
I've been
Bring
waiting,
him a
Coach,
coffee.
man. Where you been, man?
Yeah, Coach, you ready to get the season started? Let's ride.
Let's get this
Bring
going,
some
man.
coffee,
Hey,
coffee and bagels.
I got some installs we can work on, man. You know, when I was running the Pine in high school, I jumped a lot of plays.
I did used to have a playbook. I'll have to go look for it.
4 plays.
My
I
high
think
school coach,
every kid did,
he declined to
except
use
for
it.
Austin.
I pitched a couple.
Austin played you like country concert stage like setups and stuff.
He drew
and pick and
chocolate
roll
milk
schemes.
bottles.
I
Yeah.
coached in high school. Like, I
Yeah.
had plays.
Like,
It's a basketball coach. What do you want from me?
yo, I wonder if I can put together the triangle offense with a pick and roll, with the set on top of the chocolate milk.
Here's the thing: when
know,
you're
Eric Church in the middle.
when you're
Yeah.
coaching fifth graders, you gotta get creative.
Oh,
Oh, that'd be entertaining, dude.
Eric.
That's one word for it. That's one word for it.
You know what, Miss Carroll? I think this should be the content for us for the next year. Dustin tried to be a walk-on at
I
Florida
ran
State.
out of eligibility since I was in school for like 12 years.
Yeah, you definitely did.
I do want to see Dustin
Can't
run
go
a 40.
back.
I want to see it happen.
You want to see what, Austin?
I want to see Dustin run a 40.
Maybe in like 2025.
We should do like a
Over under
Austin
5. Over under 5 seconds.
Over
6'2".
Over
5. This man said 5 seconds. Like at least make it
6'2".
5.8.
No, who
5.8
would
would be more interesting.
You make him have a heart attack at 5.
who would run faster, him or Rich Eisen?
Oh, me.
Oh,
I at least got.
here we go. This is
No.
what we need.
We'll know about that.
Who'd
He
run
trained.
faster, him, Dustin, Rich Eisen,
Or
or
Dan
Dan
Ravel.
Ravel?
I'm taking Rich Eisen.
Dustin versus Darren Ravel would be a Super Bowl matchup right
Darren
there.
Ravel.
They should have had that as an event before the damn Super Bowl. That would have been better than that.
That's who I meant. Rovell, I can beat. The other guy, I don't know if I've seen.
Rich
him run.
Eisen, yeah, he
Rich
runs
Eisen's
it
the one
every
that does it
year.
he's the one that does it for the St. Jude's thing, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd have to study his stride. I might be able to.
Didn't he just break 6 though? Rich
Let
Eisen?
me see this. Let me see this.
It might be a good battle between
I
them.
might be able to get like a 5.972 or something.
So yeah, he broke 6 for the first time. Oh no, that's never mind. That was 2014. Hold on, let me find it.
Dang, that means he's at like sub 3 seconds by now.
Hold
He's
on.
running a 3.5.
For 2021, it was 6:03.
6:03.
I think
That would
I
be a
could
good
do-
one.
I think I could do that. I really do.
Okay, we need to set this up ASAP. I need it. I need this in my life.
We got to get
not,
another
not
combine.
ASAP, not ASAP. Need
No,
a
ASAP.
Hey,
ASAP.
SI, we got to get credentials now. Hey, they sent in the email today. You know, if we got to send in our application, send Dustin over to
what?
Indianapolis to run in the NFL Combine, run the 40 next to Rich Eisen.
I can't wait.
I need to get my
Wait,
training regimen
wait.
in and build some
If
explosion for a couple months.
fun fact, if you put a bag of Whataburger on a fishing pole in front of Dustin, he'll run a half second faster.
Oh,
I might be able to shave it down to like a 5.4 instead of a 5.9.
You're not
Yo,
wrong.
put play some Mary Jane in the background.
Oh man. Oh goodness gracious.
You run a 4.3. Knees and chest.
Maybe one day.
Maybe one day. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up for this evening. Luckily, we made it all the way throughout the winter to make it to the spring. So next week we'll have some content to talk about, getting ready for spring practices. Hope everybody enjoys the rest of their week. Shout out to Akers, Ramsey getting that Super Bowl ring. I think that's going to practically do it. Everybody enjoy. I'm going to say it again for the second time. The rest of
real quick. Nothing to do with Florida State.
Oh boy!
But Aaron Donald, best defensive player ever. I think the talk's a little premature.
I think an argument can be made for it.
I can't put him above Lawrence Taylor yet.
I just think an argument can be made for his position to do what he's doing.
He's definitely the best defensive tackle.
That's not even close, really. And that's speaking from a Minnesota Vikings Alan Page fan.
Yeah.
But how many more years of production does he need to be considered that guy?
Really,
2 to 3.
Yeah, 2. He's been first team All-Pro 7 times. He's been in the league 8 years. That's absurd.
See the picture of him with the shirt off, having
ridiculous.
like a 6-pack, 300 pounds.
Just massive. His back is just massive.
He's a big cat.
Hey, well, he said they're going to run it back.
Maybe.
So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, you see Stafford not let that girl get up, or not let that girl get up, but she
I keep seeing that people are bashing Matthew Stafford on social media for turning away. But do you know how many drinks in that man was at that moment when that happened?
He might have made it worse.
Yeah, I know they're paying all the bills, but now people are saying that he's just doing that because of how he got captured on video.
Whatever.
That man didn't know where he was.
Apparently, she cracked her spine.
Yeah,
she got hurt.
Yeah, fractured spine.
I mean, because that stage was pretty tall.
What, 8-foot stage, and you fall straight back?
I'm telling him, hey, Stafford tapped me and I fell, and we're gonna work on the lawsuit and get my money.
There's video.
I'm getting my money.
You can say they edited the video.
Oh yeah, we can add in a little bit more of an arm movement from Stafford. How about just a wipe right on her or something like that, and just watch her eat it. Sorry, I have a bad humor. Yeah, sorry. I'm gonna get canceled.
We should have ended this 5 minutes ago.
But shout out to women in sports. Women in sports.
Please end this.
All right, we can end it. Everybody enjoy the rest of y'all's week. iTunes, Google Play, Spotify. Hit the subscribe button and comment now. Leave a comment. Tell us how much you hate Nate. All right, everybody enjoy the rest of your week. Bye. No.
Mama told me not to say a word. 17.5, same color t-shirt. Mama told me not to say a word. 17.5, same color t-shirt. Mama told me not to say a word. 17.5, same color t-shirt. Mama told me not to say a word.